Ding dong, it's holiday time. Welcome to the show, donglers. Welcome back, one and all, to the Chaos Protocol right here, right now on Transplanar RPG. No matter if you're tuning in for the first or 100th time, we are Transplanar RPG. We are an all-transgender, people of color-led, dark fantasy actual play TTRPG channel, telling stories set in an original, non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. Get it together, everyone. This is time for our value statement. Get it together. That means we stand against genocide and ethnic cleansing and support all oppressed peoples of the world struggling against injustice, imperialism, and colonization. We must use our voices to build solidarity and fight for the worlds we wish to see. So to that end, free Sudan, free DRC, free Palestine, and free all oppressed peoples of this world. Thank you all for showing up to support our story. If you're watching this right now, you are seeing the live recording of Arc 3 episodes 9 and 10 on Twitch or YouTube. Can you believe we're already at episodes 9 and 10 of Arc 3? We only have 32 episodes total, right? So before we get started, allow me to reintroduce my fantabulous cast for the evening, starting with Humna.
Hello, donglers. I guess that's what we're doing tonight. Hello, everyone. My name is Humna. I use any and all pronouns. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing Rhododendron Ro Takrar, who uses they, Ray pronouns. We're reflecting on our actions. We're learning and listening and growing, and we will do better next time. And with that, I will pass things over to Valiant Dorian.
Sup, donglers, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian, also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt to set you on. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite normal guy, TM, Sayer, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm gonna pass it on over to the hotshot of the hour.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. And I'm not gonna say it. I use he, they, and she pronouns.
Say it.
You are here watching us say a word on repeat. And I'm here to play Mr. Zanin Esh, who uses he, him pronouns. And I'm gonna pass it on over to Sam.
I actually care about y'all too much to call you that word. So hi everyone, I'm Sam Star. I use she, they, and the occasional they pronouns. And I get to play everyone's favorite not time mage, Lumira, who uses she, her pronouns.
Great.
You started this! Don't go great like you didn't start this!
You stop that! We're all holding space for what I've begun, what I've initiated here, what I've impelled. So to kick off announcements, a massive thank you to our major sponsors for Arc 3, Explain Trade, Hero Forge, and Frivolous Bear Studios. Hero Forge in particular, I'm gonna sing their praises from high heaven. They've added a bunch of cool new features, as you may know, including color statuettes. I know I showed this off last stream, but I have to do it again. They are the perfect way to show off all those unique details that you have to squint to see on a regular-sized mini. So check out Hero Forge today and maybe buy yourself a color statuette, a custom one. You can make any character you want through our affiliate link at bit.ly/transforge. Even just clicking that link helps us, even if you don't buy anything. Just click that link. Click that link. Click that link. I'm gonna take it away.
Click that link. Everyone start chanting it. We would also like to thank our Patreon precepts, which maybe will become our Patreon donglers. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. But thank you.
Humna from this
Look, you gave me power.
I'm actually, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna leave. This is gonna be my last one tonight. See you tomorrow, guys.
But
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Patreon precepts, Asura, Brooke, The Bow System, Cassidy, Charles, Clay, Gridrunner 404, Elvira, Mark J, Nikolai, Phil, Rose, Sergeant Danes, Spencer, Squareheart, Taylor, and Zoe. You can join their illustrious ranks by using !Patreon in the chat and consider pledging at the free or the $3 tier to start, or even, given that it is the holiday season, gift a subscription to a loved one for the holidays. You'll unlock some behind the scenes content and even monthly discounts on the merch store, which, speaking of which, Val?
happy to chat about all things merchandise. Fans of Transplanar, season's greetings, as well as happy solstice. You can now find gorgeous apparel, home goods, and accessories designed by my husband, Max Daisy, by using !merch in chat or going to transplanarrpg.shop. Most of the deadlines of shipping have passed the winter holidays, but you can still pray to the mail delivery gods and place an order for the new year. Our shop is sourced ethically, size inclusive, and made to order with free global shipping. So please go and check it out. Get yourself the gift of Transplanar this holiday season. Passing it on over to Kai.
It's the season of giving. Tonight, we're sharing support for a friend of the channel, Lexi, also known as Black Girl Mage. Lexi is an incredible TTRPG creator looking to move safely in the new year, and we're looking to help. Use !donate in the chat to get to Lexi's Ko-Fi, where you can donate and be entered into a huge variety of raffles. Truly, you should go check them out. There's some really good stuff on there, including consultations from C, Humna, and Connie.
Love you, Lexi. Well, it is now my season of giving. Last time on the Chaos Protocol, Strike Team Nova attends the bloodbath. Sayir lingers in a House-Lanius union meeting before following a vengeful Jamie to the rave. After a brief reunion, Nova stops Jamie from killing Yara Thakar, the littlest spider. In the aftermath, Ro challenges Jamie to a duel, summarily killing them and draining their blood in front of the entire city. And that's what you missed last time. Use !recap in chat to read our full written recap document.
Thank you, Sam. And now, before we dig in, a reminder that the Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for this session may include fantasy violence, blood, death, grief, trauma, vampirism, neck gore, romance, references to sex, complex character dynamics, brief depictions of food, alcohol, and substance use, and mentions of spiders. So if you're in the Twitch chat, you can use !CW at any time to get a look at our content warnings. And if you're in the YouTube chat, then our mods will be dropping content warnings every now and then to remind you of what they are for this session. The title of this episode is The Unholy Witness to the Sun That We Dread, from Praying Beside the Teeth That Killed Me by Connie Chung. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Yara Thakar is no stranger to duels. Even before they came of age and embraced their promised immortality, the littlest spider of House Thakar was permitted, and in fact expected, to observe the formal battles of the Crimson Tapestry. This rhythm is familiar. The gauntlet, the adjudication, the injuries, the recompense, the inevitable outcome. She'd even participated in a duel or two herself, as was demanded of her, and she never lost. But Yara didn't like it. She preferred the privacy of her home studio over the eager eyes of a bloodthirsty audience. She liked the distorted screams of horsehair and catgut routed through a fuzz pedal, not the wet ripping sound of flesh rending flesh. The expectations, the violence, the pain, it reminded her too much of Aster. It reminded her too much of Ro. But now, they watch their sibling drain every last drop from their would-be assassin, and the littlest spider is at a loss for words. She's never witnessed anything like this. This is foul, this is intimate, this is messy in a way that Thakars simply are not. The unlife leeches out of Jamie's eyes. Dead blood pools against concrete, and Yara forces themselves to feel nothing at all. Strike Team Nova. In the last 15 minutes, you have reunited, drank blood for the first time in your lives, stopped a rogue assassin, discovered the person in your mission brief, and watched a vampire die. welcome to Inferno. But before we truly begin, it is time to calibrate your favor and your exposure. So in Court of Vampires, based on Court of Blades, favor measures the goodwill you command among houses that are not your own. You gain favor by helping other houses or by making them look good, and you lose favor by hindering other houses or making them look bad. Favor ranges from -3, which is open war, to +3, which means you are allies. Favor is shared among your party, so one person's actions will reflect on you all. Lumira, you placed your body between Yara and a wooden stake. While Seir and Zainan took down the assassin, you made sure that Yara Trakar was safe. And although this doesn't gain or lose you any favor among the other houses, Trakar has certainly noticed your priorities, as has everyone else. Seir, you drank the blood that was offered to you by House Lanius, but you also left their union meeting without a word. You recall Aditi's firm stance against Jamie's vengeance, but you have definitely interfered with Lanius's plans. The details of that interference are not yet clear to you. Zainan, you have also interfered with a house. In your case, House Kuatun, the House of the Bear. You stole and wrecked their lead retainer's motorcycle. You would have lost at least one favor with Kuatun were it not for Ro, who has promised to mediate recompense between you, Diablo, and Anugata herself. Because of Ro, Strike Team Nova gains and loses no favor with Kuatun yet. So overall, Strike Team Nova, you've only lost favor with one house, House Lanius. You are now at -1 favor with the House of the Shrike. This means House Lanius will seek opportunities to cause trouble for you or to profit from your misfortune as long as it's not costly or complicated for them, and they will expect your retinue to do the same. Whether or not you act on that or try to patch things up is up to you. Now, onto exposure. Exposure measures the scandals that follow your retinue around Inferno. You gain exposure when you offend someone, when you commit a faux pas, or when you do something negative in public. Like favor, exposure is shared among your party, so when one of you commits a scandal, you jeopardize the retinue. Your shared exposure track is 7 boxes long. Okay, this is important. When you fill it, when you tick that 7th box, you gain 1 level of shame, which is very, very bad, but we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. Lumira, you have earned your party 0 exposure. Well done. Seir, you have earned your party 1 exposure, and that's for partaking in House Lanius's blood and then ditching the union meeting. Zainan, you have earned your party 3 exposure. That is for the whole bike thing and the whole destroyed business thing. So in total, Strike Team Nova, please mark 4 out of 7 exposure on your retinue sheet. And now, Ro. The party is over, and you have dealt it its death blow. As Jamie Shimizu spasms one last time amidst their own spilt blood and failed revenge, the houses of Inferno release a collective breath. The duel is done. The result is clear. Diablo bows in your direction as is customary for the victor, and then he touches 2 fingers to his lips and brings them to the floor as is customary for the loser. When Diablo straightens, their expression is somber but appeased. So it is said, so it is done. Carry this news where it wants to go, sweet members of our ever sweeter city, and let all know that Rhododendron Trakar has felled Jamie Shimizu. But soft, tread light through yonder tunnel breaks. It is the east, and our demise is the sun. 3 hours keep us from rapacious dawn, but do not dawdle, denizens of the crimson tapestry. Be well, and gone from this place before light catches you. Diablo nods toward the congregated vampires, and with that, all sense of ceremony disperses. The duel's done, and so whispers now bounce off cavern walls about the death of Jamie Shimizu, the triumph of Rhododendron Thrakar, the gristle, the blood, the sheer sanguine mess of it all. House Thrakar has mounted an admirable defense of its claimants, but there are gaps in its armor. Gaps that you, Ro, must quickly seal off as the frenzy of feeding dies down and your senses flare back into clarity. As you take in the crowd around you, the noises, the smells, the dead blood still so thick in your nose and your mouth, you realize that Aditi Lanius is gone. She was one of the last to arrive and one of the first to leave. Thank the gods, big and small. You've no idea why she showed her face here in the first place, what her goals are beyond the usual goals of House Lanius, but that is a problem for another row, another night. What demands your attention right now?
Yada. Yada. Yada does. And Ro has rare hands still in Jamie's body, still covered in his blood, covered in all of the viscera of somebody that honestly they don't even recognize anymore. And pressing down into the body to get themselves up, Ro looks up and frantically looks around, trying to find where Yada is.
Yada is at the front of the crowd. As soon as Diablo announced the results of this duel, the crowd had started to disperse, but not super rapidly. Many are still rubbernecking, looking at you, whispering, and then you see a bit of the crowd part, and there is your sister.
As Ro gets up, I say, "Party is over. The party is over." Looking at the people that are rubbernecking, whispering, saying who knows what about what just happened, and there is a snap in Ro's voice, their fangs bared at the people. There is no actual physical violence that Ro will enact against these people. That is not how the Crimson Tapestry, that is not how House Thakrar operates. But there is a threat behind it, behind that expression.
Your voice feels thicker than usual. It's all the blood that's in your mouth. You're not used to there being so much blood in your mouth, but it rings out clear and commanding. This is your territory, your turf. This was your event. And the words fall on listening ears. The other vampires start hurrying out of here with a bit more adroitness than earlier.
If Ro sees Nova start to leave as well, at that command to the rest of the room, Ro will say, "Not you three."
All right.
And Ro will gesture for the three of them to come and meet them off to the side. Ro is going to close that distance between himself and Yada, so going towards wherever they are, and is going to bring or ask Strike Team Nova to come to the spiders for a little chat.
Zynon was a little stunned when Ro told them to stay. Zynon was still staring at all the blood. It's been a fun night. Until everything went sideways. And there's this sobering moment seeing the person who called them here. The person who called so deeply into the journey that fate heard. Covered in blood. And Zynon is almost transfixed as Ray calls them over. And he walks like he's on rails.
Sayir watched the bloodbath explode before him with, at first, neutrality and then with a deepening, troubling realization. Ro is who they're meant to protect. Ro is the mission objective. But I do not think Sayer ever thought he would see a ally, a mission objective, be as brutal as he could be. And as he watches the blood drain from Jamie into Ro's maw, he feels blood in his own body begin to spread from his skull down his face to his chest as he feels his entire upper body warm up, heating. And absentmindedly, in the fallout of this duel, Sayer finds himself holding onto Nova before him, the other three, one arm on Zainan's right shoulder, the other on Lumira's lower forearm, and he holds them like a protective bear, realizing how dangerous and terrifying Inferno really is, and the weight of his responsibility has just doubled. As Ro calls to Nova, he snaps out of it. And as Zainan begins moving, Lumira begins moving, Yinghe begins moving. He almost has his arms and hands tucked behind their waists and back as he walks behind them like a shadow.
Lumira lags a bit, kind of stuttering in her steps. If it's silent enough in here, you can hear the chain of her pocket watch rustling, its face snapping open and snapping shut as she's just wide-eyed before she steals herself back into where she's supposed to be. Lucy warned us this place was going to be different. So Lumira will walk up to Ro and will reach in her pocket to pull out like a napkin or like a wet wipe or something and pass it to you. You should probably clean your face.
And Ro takes that napkin from you and wipes. Thank you. And it's this odd scene that starts to unravel before you. You can see the mask starting to shift and fit back onto Ro's face, the cracks quite literally mending themselves before your eyes, but it's not right with all of the blood still caked onto Ro's mouth and body. You can see that there is something practiced about it. And after wiping their face as best that they can, Ro holds onto Yada's hand and squeezes it firmly. But still looking at Strike Team Nova, will say, thank you for what you did tonight. You saved Yada's life, and for that, House the Cry would like to extend its grace to you three. So, if it does not inconvenience you, I would like to invite you to come to the House the Cry Haveli tomorrow night for us to give you a proper thanks.
I appreciate it.
We'd be honored.
Lumira, like, lowly, like, elbows Sayer in the torso.
We look forward to it. As Sayer's was an acknowledgement amidst Sayer assessing Ro, assessing Yara, and Lumira's nudge grounds him back into reality. He's like, would be honored.
As for Yara, they squeeze you back, Ro, and then release your hand from their own grip and square their stance to look at Strike Team Nova. And they have steadied their body ever since Ro gave them that look right after the assassination attempt. There is nothing jittery about her voice whatsoever when she speaks. The only betrayal of any sort of nervousness or anxiety or the fact that she's shocked or affected by the outcome of the duel is only noticed by Ro in the slight tremor of those bright cat-like yellow pupils. I just wanted to say thanks, personally, to all three of you. You especially. And she looks at you, Lumira, for, saving my life or whatever.
Don't worry about it. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. It was just unexpected and very brazen of someone who doesn't even claim a house to make such an attempt based on a bed of lies. And Yara looks at Ro as though to expect their sibling to confirm this.
It is unbecoming of anyone that has agreed to the Crimson Tapestry, as we all have.
Yes, most unbecoming.
A desperate cornered animal sometimes lashes out.
Keyword desperate.
That is true. Well, I'm a medic, so if you feel woozy, double vision, lightheaded, confused, let me know.
I'm fine. I just need to find my vape and I'll be okay.
Fair enough. Lumira looks so confused.
I like to think that Sayer and Lumira look at each other briefly and be like just mouthing what that is.
In all of this, Zynon doesn't look at Yara. Acknowledges the gratitude, but is inspecting Rhododendron. Inspecting this person who just survived a duel with the eye of someone looking for both vulnerabilities and strengths. And Zynon is both making sure that Ro is actually okay and also admiring the blood, the ferocity, that strong will to live. It was a good fight.
Kai, what exactly are you trying to glean specifically? Just so I know exactly what Ro would be willing to offer you.
Zynon is honestly appraising Ro's combat ability more than anything else. Is appraising them as a fighter. And maybe some other things.
Okay. I think from looking and having watched Ro fight, you can see that there was something to the way that they immediately went for a weapon. That while Jamie was fighting purely with their body, Ro had specifically chosen to take a part of the environment and use that instead. It wasn't until afterwards that Ro went for their own body as the main weapon. So there is, I think you can tell that Ro has been trained to some degree to fight with a weapon as similar to that rapier-esque stake that Ro had created. In terms of whether or not they're actually okay, Connie, are contested roles a thing?
They are, but they have to be asked for and acted on by players. In this system, I don't ask for roles. I will only let you know if something is ever in question, or if you just get it automatically.
In that case, I will leave it up to you, Kai. As far as just looking at Ro, you can see, like I said, that mask is slipping back on. You can see that for all intents and purposes, Ro looks okay. Unfazed. If anything, they look slighted, annoyed that they had to deal with this at all.
Honestly, the facade tells Zynon enough. He isn't there to dig or pry. He wants to know who they're getting involved with in detail. He knows the abilities of the other three, and he's only seen Ro fight once, and we're about to get in deep with someone in a very dangerous place. So he wants to know who's got his back. And he's satisfied as he looks you over and gives you the acknowledgement that it was a good fight. But more importantly, he kind of looks to the others, looks back to you, Ro. The haveli tomorrow, after you're rested, be eager to speak with you about this and our other business.
Unfortunate that the fight had to happen. But I hope to see all three of you, and Ro's gaze lingers on Sayir in particular, tomorrow.
Sayir, House Lanius's blood sits somewhere deep in your throat as Ro's eyes fall on you.
An odd, unfamiliar feeling. But I think Sayir understands the circumstances in which he finds himself in, especially with regards to the assassination attempt. He straightens, looks Ro in the eye, meets it unfalteringly. Of course. I'm ready to answer any and all queries.
Hey! The voice rings out across the rapidly deserting dance floor as Anugata strides forward like a woman on a warpath in Zainan's direction. But before she can get there, Diablo slinks out of the shadows and presses themselves between this very irate vampire and your crew, places a hand on Anugata's chest and whispers something up at her. And Anugata pauses. Eyes go from Zainan to Ro, and then back at Diablo. Lets out a scoff. Looks at you, Zainan, gives you one last disdainful look. If looks could kill, you'd be dead again. Again, really. And then Anugata turns and goes. Diablo lets out a rather exasperated sigh, kind of wipes his hands together, turns and approaches your party. Gives you a respectful nod, Ro, but then eyes fall on the rest of Nova. Assuming that this little gathering is wrapping up soon, as dawn approaches in not but 3 hours, I'll do you all a favor, outsiders, newcomers rather, and call you a cab.
Thanks. I don't have a ride anymore.
I wouldn't milk that joke too much. At least not while Anugata is still within earshot.
Yeah.
Sayir looks towards Yinghe and Lumira at this point, being concretely out of the loop, with an exasperated, like, exhaustion in his eye of like.
You look at Lumira and you just see her brow pinched between her thumb and her index finger as she just sighs.
Sayir raises a hand. Yeah.
As for Yinghe, this entire time, Yinghe has been on the fringe of this conversation, standing stock still. Actually, I don't think anyone really notices them, aside from maybe Sayir, maybe Lumira, maybe Zainan, because you physically know they're there. Ro, it's like they kind of come out of nowhere when they speak. Yes, I would appreciate also writing in that cap too, assuming the offer extends to me. My condolences to the two of you for the attempted attack on your life. And Yinghe indicates Yara, who flinches a little as Yinghe steps out of nowhere. Are you? Sure, yeah, whatever, thanks. Appreciated.
There is a moment of surprise, and then a look of appraisal from Ro at Yinghe as he appears out of nowhere, having escaped the observation of the spiders themselves. There was no ping in the spider web, nothing to indicate that someone new had entered. And so Ro looks Yingke up and down once and says, "Thank you. I assume, are you with them?"
Yeah, for now. We go way back a little bit.
We'll see you tomorrow too then.
Oh, great. I'll be there for sure, 100%. Sorry to all of you for not doing much that time, but I will do more in the future, I promise.
We'll work on
Don't worry about it.
And now if you'll excuse us, House Sakura has some things to take care of, so. And Ro will place a hand on Yada's shoulders and like gently start guiding her away from Strike Team Nova.
Yada will
inclines his hat.
Yada will let you do that until you are basically almost out of earshot and out of view, and then they'll kind of like shrug your hand off, shake their head, and kind of walk quickly, briskly in front of you. Yingke turns to face the rest of Strike Team Nova. What is a cab?
Mm-hmm.
It's
My
a ride.
understanding. And it's a mode of transportation.
Oh, okay. So like a horse.
Yeah. Lumira just looks at Zynon, just eyes wide, like just say yes. Just say yes.
We'll show you. And Zynon gets the look from Lumira, is trying to like shift back into a person that he hasn't been since we've arrived in Inferno. He suddenly is trying to will himself back into the same boots that he walked out of Artemis's office in. For the first time, I think, Lumira, you see Zynon feel like his clothes don't fit. Like his hat isn't quite right. Something isn't sticking, but he does force that mentor smile. We'll work on it. And then he turns to walk towards the door.
Lumira's eyebrows shoot up at that. She's extremely observant. She knows your ticks and your tells at this point. She knows you're bullshitting. But she also knows you'll speak when you're ready. So she will turn back to Yinghe and Sayer. Y'all ready to go? This was more than enough for one night.
Agreed. Come.
Yeah.
Definitely. Diablo, as soon as your party starts dispersing, just gives the four of you a kind of curt nod, and then turns and goes, one final look lingering on you, Zynon. Though it's not with attraction. You're very familiar with looks of attraction, alluring looks, heated glances across a crowded room. This isn't it. It's an appraising look. Something that you can't quite parse on the surface. And then they're gone. Strike Team Nova, as you head to the entrance of the catacombs, Yinghe's footsteps are barely audible behind the three of you as they say, "So, where are we headed? Do we have an address?"
Hmm.
Ping, ping, ping! On all of your phones.
Oh yeah, I
So
forgot about
nice.
you.
Zynon starts patting himself down.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Do I have a phone?
Yes, all three of you do. Lumira has already found and played with her phone, but boys, you have phones as well. They are tucked away in whatever pocket on your person you want there to be, but they are there.
Unfortunate truth, once the pinging stops, Zynon stops looking.
Sayer picks up his phone and takes a look at it. Huh.
Sayer,
and
what is your what's your lock screen?
Okay. Sayer's lock screen is an old piece of artwork he did when he was back in his colors phase, where he was working a lot with gouache, and it is a gouache painting of Lumira, Singh, on a like grassy knoll near the nourishment part of Trans, with a tiny strange animal that Sing must have picked up when they weren't supposed to.
Yes, the animal looks like a animate cloud, very fluffy, with these like 2 little black eyes and these like little stubby hooves. Very, very cute. Sing had called it a dog. You're not sure if that was accurate though. And
He's certain it's not.
I love that. The message that you see that you got pinged with, the sender is the Oracle, and their contact photo is what they currently look like, that spherical orb with that triangle cut out. And it reads 42 Elegy Parkway, apartment number 3-8.
Oh yeah, I forgot about you. And Sayer fishes into his other pocket to pick out the sphere that is the Oracle, and hold it out to Lumira and be like, the Oracle.
Oh, hello, Lumira.
Oh.
Do you mind taking me from Sayer? His pockets smell like blood and bad mistakes.
Sayer shakes the Oracle violently.
Lumira snatches it out of your hand immediately.
That's how you get responses out of it. I'm not trying to be cheeky.
He's lying. He's lying to you, Lumira.
When would I do
There,
that?
what's that? Zynon points to the phone.
I think you got one too, Zynon.
You definitely
looks like-
do.
It kind of looks like the ones they hold in Earth.
Oh, those things. I'll look at it later.
It's called a
Lumira
phone.
will pull her phone out and call Zynon standing directly in front of her. You were
Zynon,
like,
what's your
pick up your
ringtone?
phone, damn it.
Oh my god.
I think like beautiful guitar music starts playing and like echoing, and he starts to like really pat himself down, and it's like he goes in and he opens a pouch, and inside of it he looks in and there's a flask of water, and he's like, that's not it, and keeps going, and finally on the side he there's like a holster for it built into this belt that seems to have like 1,000 little pockets and pouches all on it.
Phone holster, no! Not the belt
Why are you so old, Zynon?
I'm actually gonna tell us you have a pager. Oh my god.
And he finally pulls out this phone. And I think it's in like a really industrial case and everything. It is a Zynon-proofed phone.
fucking OtterBox!
Not
I
a
love
water box!
What is your lock screen, Zynon?
I think Zynon is startled when he looks at the face of it, and it lights up. And it is a familiar image, actually, in the same hand of the artist that did Sayers. It is a drawing of Nova on Storm Chaser. Huh. And he opens it and sees the address.
Anyway, that's where you all should probably tell the cab driver that you're headed. The Prime Oracle really outfitted all of you with really nice phones. They're the latest models from Pear.
Wow, I wish you were this talkative when we were on the top of a building,
Sayer.
Oracle.
Well, you never
Just
exactly asked me
Sayer.
any interesting questions.
I asked you to find Nova, the Seeker's Protocol!
Well, I
Sayer,
did,
you're
didn't
arguing
I?
with the ball. We're walking.
Lumira
The-
like places her hand on the back of Sayer's like bicep and like just like grips it. Like, please do everything in your power to make this job simpler for all of us.
I'm trying so hard.
Let him have it, Lumioa. Let him have it.
Oracle, you are not helping.
Sorry. You're right, I'll do better.
Okay. So we're gonna go to this address now. Everybody good. Zynon, keep your phone on you.
I got a pocket for it. And he puts it back in that horrible holster on his belt. I think as he's back there, though, Lumira, you see, like, under the layers of material that cover him, and he pulls back his leather jacket underneath it is actually a, like, knee-length kimono that is just open. But underneath that is this belt And on the strap of it, 'cause it seems to go up over his shoulder, you see the flash of something silver mounted to the back of it. A long silver spike.
You know what? We're not even going to get into that right now. One task at a time. Okay, so Lumira will once again, like, reassuringly, like, pat grip Sayer's arm. We good now?
Sayer relaxes. Color rises to his cheeks, but he does relax and not bully the Oracle any longer.
The Oracle says it in a tone that is so low, only Sayer's ears can catch it. And then Strike Team Nova steps out of the catacombs. By now, the autumnal drizzle has died down, so you are left with the smell of rain without any wetness still lingering in the air. You see other vampires dawdling about, smoking, still lingering, trying to find the party after the party, know what I mean? And then, sure enough, you see a pair of headlights cutting through this really late night mist that's descended upon this part of the city. And then a yellow taxi cab pulls to a stop in front of your party.
Can we all comfortably fit in this taxi?
So that's a great question. There's the driver and then 3 seats in the back and 1 seat in the front. So who's going where?
Zynon goes straight. Zynon's in the front, and he goes straight for the passenger seat. He's like, they can figure it out in the back.
Okay. So who opens the door, the back door? I need to know this. Sayer, are you going for it?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I do. I have to, because I need to figure out how these two are going to fit themselves at the back.
You open the back door and Yinghe just looks at you, Lumira, and goes, you first.
All right, you should.
Unless you want me to. I can go first if you don't want to go.
It's don't worry about it. Okay, and Lumira just kind of crawls in to the back seat a little bit clumsily. I think she accidentally partially sits on your lap for a second, so you're like trying to get herself situated in the back seat, and then like sits down.
Sayer is sat with one arm holding onto the handle of the back seat so that he isn't taking as much space. So he is only really half sitting on this back seat, and you're sitting on the part of his lap that's actually flat against the seat. So he's like, as he's like part way hovering. It's a big boy.
You're muted, Sam.
Oh, geez. I was about to say
I
once.
couldn't hear you.
Oh no, I was definitely muted. I was gonna say, like, once Yinghe like gets in and we're all like scrunched and smushed in the back seat, I just look up at Zynon sitting in the front and goes, "Now, why would you not let the biggest person sit in the front?"
Sorry.
Next time.
Don't worry about it. Lumira just gives the cab driver the address. And she just like sits back with her head on the seat.
The cab driver is this like older man with this brown skin, really weathered. He has like a hat pulled low over the short black hair, and he just goes, Elegy Apartments. I know it well. I'll get you there in record time. Don't worry, I'm not one of those cabbies that runs up the ticket. And he starts peeling off, and as he does, he fishes a cigarette out of a pack, and rolls down the window, which still has like a manual crank, and lights it, and is talking and smoking at the same time.
Sir fully hits his head against the window when he peels off.
Zynon pulls off his hat and cranks down the passenger window and just like fully takes a little cowboy rest in the corner, letting the wind blow on his face, breathing in the city. In his mind, he's also letting the air in to help everyone in the back, but honestly, he's just comfy.
So Strike Team Nova. The ride to 42 Elegy Parkway, apartment number 38, grants a truly spectacular view of Inferno in the bare hours before deadly sunrise. You gutter past every type of architecture here, from residential neighborhoods lined with bright green trees to ultra-modern malls drenched in neon. You see towering apartments stacked with more AC units than your eye can measure, and laundry lines sagging with drying clothes. You rumble across Inferno Bridge, which is a familiar sight by now to one Zynon Esh. This impressive steel and concrete structure spans a massive river that divides Inferno into east and west and snakes through the city like a world-eating serpent. As the sky begins to brighten in anticipation of dawn, you realize the waters of the Inferno River are tinted. In fact, now that there's more light here, you notice that the water looks red. Crimson. Must be an effect of the soil here. And as the cab flits past these thick steel cables that hold the bridge upright, we pull back into the taxi itself. More specifically, we pull into the front passenger seat as wind ruffles through Zynon's hair. You hear the Oracle's voice, Zynon, shoot that same kind of like DM, I guess, just to your ear that only you can hear, that it did to Sayer earlier. You hear a,
Oh, Zynon, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like the most responsible person here probably, except for Lumira. But Lumira is kind of in a compromising position back here, so I'll give this to you. Check your pocket. Blah.
Zynon, who has been trying to react not big and relatively like quietly enough that the wind will eat most of the sound that he's making, aware that the driver is sitting right there. And he goes into his pocket where he can feel the Oracle having gone bleh. And he fishes around to grab whatever that was.
your hands curl around a key, a set of keys, actually.
That's for your apartment.
Thank you. And he pulls them out and gives them a little jingle. And flips his hand behind the seat, holding the keys out, specifically knowing that Lumira is very close at hand.
Lumira looks so... If you just peeked back through the rear view mirror just for a second, she looks so uncomfortable, so just like eyes wide frantic. She just looks like this is like the most difficult position she's ever been in her entire life, and she just reaches up and grabs the key.
Jingle, jingle, jingle. Actually, none of you show up on the rear view mirror at all. It's like the taxi driver is driving a cab full of nothing and no one. But even though the taxi driver glances at the rear view mirror occasionally to kind of like, check his mirrors, he doesn't seem surprised. Though all three of you can hear blood humming underneath his neck. He's definitely a living mortal, but doesn't seem perturbed that he's cabbing for an empty seat. Yingke looks over at you, Lumira. Actually kind of has to like lean a little bit because they're wait, you're in the middle seat, right, Lumira? Sayer is at the end, you're in the middle, and Yinke's next to you. So Yinke kind of leans in and says, I just wanted to say, good job back there.
Lumira looks like a bit startled for a second, confused, because she's not really sure what she's getting congratulated on, but she still smiles and nods anyway.
Thanks. Saving the little spider and all that.
It's part of our mission. We do what we have to, right?
Yeah, we do. And a little smile plays on Yinke's lips, a private little smile as they bury their chin down a bit.
Yes, we do.
Awkward!
If I could get to my pockets right now, I would give you some ball bearings to shut you up, please.
I'm just very hungry. So I'm acting out for attention.
Acting out will get you in trouble. Only good oracles get snacks, remember that.
Okay, fine. I'll try not to be so aggravating.
Thank you. Plus, Oracle, we are all hungry.
Oh. Okay, that's fair. But to be fair, I mean, all of you got to, drink a little tonight.
I'll feed you when we get to the apartment, okay? Just...
You promise?
Please, just few... I swear on fate. Just let me get through this.
Okay, yes. Mum's the word. Zip, zip, zip.
And on Lumira's long-suffering sigh, the cab finally pulls to a slow and then a halt in front of 42 Elegy Parkway. And you all exit the cab in front of a no-frills apartment complex made of 3 conjoined buildings that surround a concrete courtyard. And in this courtyard, you see a few small but very resilient potted plants. And as the cab pulls off and Strike Team Nova enters 42 Elegy Parkway, you are greeted with a blast of warm air as a refuge from the autumnal chill outside. A flickering fluorescent light blinks in the ceiling, casting odd shadows every now and then, and you see in front of you a wall of private mailboxes, a set of elevators, and hallways branching off in either direction. Based on the name of your apartment number, 38, you can safely ascertain that it's on the 3rd floor. And sure enough, you do find 38 at the end of a corridor on the 3rd floor, a spacious corner loft. As presumably Zynon unlocks the door. No?
Lumira has the keys.
Okay.
Lumira has the keys, yeah.
So Lumira, as you unlock the door and you open it up, all 4 of you are greeted by an open concept living room and a kitchen with a dining table. You also see a coffee table, a sofa, a couch, a TV. The walls in here are painted a pleasantly and very modern light green, and the floors are made of genuine hardwood. There's a big window off to your side that offers a generous view of Inferno's busy streets with these pulled back blackout curtains lining either side. And this apartment feels modern, it feels cozy, it feels lived in. There are carpets on the floor, magazines on tables, tomes in bookshelves. It's densely and tastefully decorated with design flourishes from your cover stories, your supposed past lives. But any and all personal affects are completely missing. It definitely feels like people should live here, but there's no semblance of intimacy. You can feel the negative space of your false personas. This home is just waiting for someone to actually live in it and love it. And now, the 3 of you have arrived. Plus Yingke, of course.
Oh.
Wow.
Huh.
Ooh, there's a bookshelf. Lumira walks over to the bookshelf.
Zynon walks
see-
in, takes his hat off, and immediately starts looking for a hat hook.
There is one. Yeah. There is honestly a kind of coat stand with a hat hook on top right by the door. Lumira, you see all sorts of books here. There's fiction, there's nonfiction, there's romance, there's fantasy, there are essays, pretty much anything you might want. And all of the topics are particularly interesting to you. There are medical manuals, there are history books, there are what appear to be award-winning kind of like prestige books here as well.
I am so happy.
Ugh. Sayer doffs off his jacket and like puts it in the what I would assume to be like the closest like shoe closet situation that we have. Hangs it up neatly, and like dusts himself off of the city. And begins taking off his massive combat boots, which takes a while.
As you start to do that, Sayer, you see Zynon start to take off his leather jacket that he's been wearing, and now you can see like there's bits of asphalt coming off of him. Like there's stone and like brick and things that are just kind of coming off of him from his.
Sign the fuck.
Listen, and he takes his jacket off, and you can see as he takes his kimono off from underneath that as well. His left leg, the entire like side of his pants, is wet with blood.
Fuck, Sign what the fuck is this? Sayer's already like kneeling on the ground and like unpeeling off all of his like laces and belts and hooks and things off of his shoes, and is immediately eyes down to your pant leg looking.
It's fine. Lumira will need some help with that later.
Here. Yeah, I see that. Let me see.
I
if
got hit
can
by a
find
car.
something.
Well, actually, more correctly, I hit the car, but it's fine.
Is this
It's not fine. Every single time, neither of you can never, ever, ever not find trouble. Lumira is like
me?
fussing over like loudly as she's like digging through like her pockets, trying to find like gauze and stuff to treat.
We'll do this
Zion.
later. Let me get situated. We just got here.
And you're bleeding
give me that look.
and leaving rocks all over the place.
I will do it again.
Fate, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, Fate. I'm so tired.
And where were
So
you?
tired.
Zynon says, turning to Sayer.
on the top
Yeah.
of a building without the two of you, clearly? And I'm
You were
assuming
on
the
top
two
of a building.
on a construction beam. Yep. In fact, I was in a House Lanius union meeting, like I mentioned before. They just let me
still
walk in.
confused on what a union is.
No idea. It just seemed like, I don't know, some sort of like pre-planned sort of like organizational meeting, like the
Okay.
ones we have for
That's
trans.
the beginning of it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I saw, what's their name, Jamie Shimizu, rolling in like a
Or our
hurricane.
assassin.
Mhm.
Prior to.
Jimmy,
Wait, you...
Shimizu, and oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, speak.
No, it's fine.
You're-
I was just. What do you mean you saw Jamie there? They're related to House Lanius?
All right. So stick with me here. And Sayer outlines what happens at House Lanius. He speaks of arriving on the construction beam, hovering high above the city, meeting construction workers, being invited to this meeting. He talks about the layout of this meeting, the kind of people that walk in, not only construction workers, but suits, the tiers of leadership that he's noticed, speaking specifically about a DT.
Mhm.
Yeah, a DT of House Lanius, and how the presence of mind that she held and how Sayer perceived it. And then he talks about Ren Shimizu. There is this person that's apparently they're a piece of they're like an informant or something for House Lanius, and they were looking into Trakar and allegedly got into an accident. House Lanius doesn't believe it. They think they were killed and it was handled sloppily.
Do they have any idea of who it possibly could be?
Considering the target of Jamie's frustrations, because Jamie was incredibly frustrated, desperate, angry, there's only a few people that it could be. Either that Yara was indeed the person who is involved and handled it sloppily, or it is Rhododendron, or it is someone named Will Trakar.
I don't
Huh.
think it could have been Yara. She doesn't strike me as the kill someone and then cover it up type.
I agree.
Meanwhile, we just saw someone kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
And killing seems to be a whole formal thing here. If Trakar did want to kill Ren, why didn't they just challenge Ren to a duel like we saw?
No idea.
Maybe too messy.
I think there's more that lies beneath the surface. I don't know what kind of information they were feeding to Lanius. But
You took
Lanius
the words
themselves,
directly from my mouth.
Lanius didn't seem to want to act in that moment. But, well, Aditi was at the party. Aditi saw me. And Aditi also saw me at the union meeting. So, I will not count on any prior connections that I have made. I think that bridge is burnt now.
Val, did Seer talk about the association with Lanius and the Shrike?
Yes. I mean, he mentioned that briefly in the bloodbath, but he would have highlighted it again.
Yeah. Okay. Zynon, kind of listening more than responding, stops, and you can see that he's like trying to tie two threads together. Rhododendron, this killing of Jamie, now this information about Ren, and then this thread that seems to not quite connect, but it's something there, the Shrike. What do you think? We have to bring the Shrike to Rhododendron.
At this point, I'm inclined to think it's a person.
There's a
in my
lot
opinion.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple people, it seems. It's a whole house. How can there just be one? I can definitely believe that maybe Rhododendron has killed someone else, though. That was a pretty intense display.
Oh yeah, they're a
But-
killer for sure.
They seem
Oh, 100%.
they seem capable.
Yeah, definitely capable. But their eyes, they look so sad.
Killing isn't always joyful. Sometimes it's
No.
necessary, though.
It's grim, but some people take pleasure in it. I saw that plenty, back home.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
It's just life.
Fair enough. So, I think we need to keep our ears low to the ground.
Hmm.
All of us. And we need to especially keep our eyes on Ro.
But we're
Tomorrow.
supposed to help them, right? That's the trans directive?
We can still help while also paying close attention to what's happening.
Hmm.
Okay.
I mean, it's also important to note that sometimes our mission objective, the verbiage and the language can shift throughout the mission. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here too, but I agree, we need to and Sayer kind of like gets lost looking at Yinghe as if that revelation of Yinghe seeing folks take pleasure in killing kind of ignites something within his conscience, and then he shoves it back down. Regardless, we should keep an eye on Rhododendron, and I don't know. I think everything will start to make sense the minute we see how House the car is. I feel like I've got a vibe check off of Lanius.
And we're gonna learn a little bit more about a few others. Diablo. we saw,
Yeah, about that.
they're unaffiliated, but Anukata.
You spent
the big
time
scary
knowing,
woman.
getting to know Diablo, huh, Zynon?
Hmm?
Yeah, he gave me this, and Zidon shows us some of the like bruises from the fight.
Oh, he really kicked your ass a little.
Really putting that research
Thanks.
to use, huh, Zynon?
Thanks, Yinghe. The what? Yes, the listen. I was
Mhm.
led there by an inclination. Just following
Mm-hmm.
my
Mhm.
instincts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
What was it I said
But-
earlier about never being able to leave you two alone because you always find trouble?
In my defense, trouble finds me. But in this case, I did destroy their shop. And I did.
Sign in.
And he looks down to the bloody spot on his leg. Do some harm to Anagata's motorcycle.
Is that why she was storming in your direction like a storm?
Which I'm going to take as a opportunity, since rhododendron is going to be middle for me and these two other parties. So we have a reason to associate with them. And we will have Ree's ear as needed to resolve the extenuating issues in this place. In this very connected favor for favor, duty for duty world, it seems.
Well, that's so complicated. Is that what it's like to be a trans agent? You have to juggle all of these things at once? This whole place is just so cool and vibrant and colorful. I don't know how any of you get anything done. I'd want to spend all day exploring. Or night, I guess.
Stellar tunnel
Speaking
vision,
of day,
focus, and grit.
and Zidon starts to close the curtains.
Yeah, before dawn rises. Very smart
Yeah.
move. Yep. You shutter the blackout curtains.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's
dim
right.
mood lighting automatically kind of like rises in the room to help compensate
Oh.
for your vision.
And as Zidon goes to the curtains, you can all see now he has a full like utility belt complete with shoulder harnesses and chest harness that he's been wearing underneath everything. And yes, on the back of one of the straps that goes over his shoulder, there is a half silver, half wooden spike strapped to his back underneath his clothes. You also see that spyglass, that scope that you made, Lumira, in a sling easily pulled out on his right hip. No gun. You can see his signature blade also tucked into this rig, but there's also pouches and bags and all kinds of other strange things tucked in all of these places. And a nice, firm leather strapping system holding it all.
Nice.
Simon, what is that thing?
What's what?
The silver and wooden stake thing?
Where? And he starts to like look over his shoulder.
On your back. Here, do you mind if I?
Of course.
And you feel something shift, and then the implement is brought forward.
Huh.
Huh.
And you see him kind of like flip it around. Oh. I guess it's a stake.
Do all of you come in here with stakes, or was that just part of your cover story? Like how Sayers was that he's a construction worker.
Sayer looks at the entirety of his person where he would normally have two shining, sharp blades with him. He has nothing. The only things sitting in his pockets are this slim little cell phone and what was formerly the bit of oracle that's sat with him for most of this journey so far. And Sayer just kind of like pats himself down. Nope, I think my loadout this time is a little thin. It shifts sometimes, depending where we go.
My stake of choice is a scalpel.
That's always true.
Maybe you were a vampire hunter in a past life, Zidon.
Ugh, that's gonna be complicated. And he puts that stake back, now that he knows where it sits, like his hands already know how to resheath it, and he straps it back on. And as he turns, you also hear 1,000 little necklaces all hanging around his neck. And Lumira, you see this gold down-facing what almost looks like a ring, but as he turns, it faces you, and it's actually a clock hanging off of his neck, a very small watch in a hanging down pendant. And Sayer, you see a half crescent in black stone hanging there as well, among the thousands of other little things.
I'm gonna go get ready for morning bed,
Where are
I
we
guess.
sleeping?
But
Mm,
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that enough
where
bedrooms
should
for
we-
everyone? And Lumira will like turn off and go like start looking towards the bedrooms before you hear her scream.
Everything
And
all right?
she's-
Lumira,
There's only two.
to what?
Two
Bedrooms?
bedrooms. There are two
Okay.
bedrooms for 4 people. 2.
Wait, well, how many beds are there in each bedroom? Maybe there are 2.
There are 2 beds and 2 bedrooms.
Oh.
It's
Oh.
fine. I can make myself scarce.
Absolutely not, Zynon.
Zynon, I'm saying this with all the love in the world. Sir, you are too old to be sleeping on the couch. Respectfully, like I said, with the most love and care in the world, you know your back will be ruined.
That is the second time
I've
you've been
slept
medically
in-
deemed an old man.
I have slept in significantly worse places and been fine, but thank you for your concern, wonderful
Maybe 15
medic.
years ago.
All of you.
Did I do it
Fate.
right?
Lumira
Look.
like does like a little mini like fingertip high five with Yinghe. Like that was a
Yinghe
good one.
reciprocates it eagerly.
That was a good one.
Sayer looks at Yinghe and this Lumira situation that's emerging in front of him.
So actually, that's perfect because while you two were getting in trouble, does anyone want to know what Lumira was up to?
I'm very
And
curious.
Yinghe, I tagged along.
Lumira
Huh.
woke up in a library.
Mm.
I work at a bookstore.
Wait, you have a
That's great. Right?
like a job at
Yeah.
a bookstore?
Mm-hmm.
You love books.
I do love
Yeah,
books.
but-
You're right.
Zynon is dead and unemployed. And Sayer
And apparently
just,
a vampire hunter.
Quit. Yeah.
I guess so.
But Lumira and I had a very productive evening. We got
Yeah,
a
we did.
series of mysterious messages, which we tracked all the way to the catacombs, and we learned a lot about the history of Inferno.
Mysterious, like you still don't know who was sending them?
No.
No. We went to a burned down building. That's where I found Lumira, actually. I ran into a pole, or what used to be a pole, mostly rubble. It hurt. But we had a good laugh about it. I liked that. We didn't really get much from that burned down building, though. But it seems strange that it's still around, even though the neighborhood it's in is so vibrant. And then we went to the
And no one
Inferno
was watching
Common.
you
Not
as
that
you were
I could
moving from
sense.
place to place.
No, and I have very good perception.
As do I.
Yes, so we are quite confident no one was watching us. The Inferno Common was a really nice green space. There was a little stream and then an archway across the stream. It's said that it was built in the 15th or 16th century by both House Drakkar and House Lanius.
Lumira will instinctively, without even thinking about it, repeat what she read on the placard verbatim.
Huh.
Seems like
Strikes-
there's some old beef between those two.
It certainly feels like it.
But why would they build it together if they hated each other?
Maybe they didn't always hate each other.
Oh,
Or maybe they had to come together and for the sake of a common enemy.
Or something went wrong.
hmm.
I wonder what
Oh,
is going
sorry.
on.
Go ahead, Simon.
No, it's just a thought. The Mayday missions have to do with Oblivion, so I'm wondering what the Oblivion influence on this place is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe all the killing and dying and living and dying again thing?
But that happens in places even without Oblivion.
Sayer freezes up for a moment, thinking again about the doom of this place, and he looks on his little finger, that little red thread, and I think out of instinct, he will helplessly attempt to try and connect to the doom of this place. But again, it's the same answer, isn't it?
That is definitely risky. If you want to try to take an action to connect with the doom of this place, I will tell you that the position is going to be desperate and your effect will be 0. Do you want to try?
Sure. Fuck it.
Okay, so what skill are you invoking?
I will invoke command. I have 1 in it.
Okay, so you're trying to command Doom to talk to you and show you visions. Okay. That is a 1. What is your hunger at again? Your thirst?
Well fed.
Okay, great. So, yeah, that is just 1d6. Would you like to try to increase the pool there?
Yeah, sure. Say your wants answers. Sure.
Okay, would you like
That's
to push yourself or accept a twist of fate?
I'll accept the twist of fate, Connie.
Okay, a devil's bargain from the Game Master. This twist will affect the volatility of what you see, if anything. So no matter the result, even if you crit, because you're going to have a 2d6, you're going to get a really volatile answer, will be that twist of fate. Okay, so that's going to be a 2d6. Make that roll.
That's an ominous number. The 2 4s. That's why I thought it was an ominous number.
4. Okay, that is a partial success. Cost, complication, or consequence comes your way. What does it look like as you're so you're observing the red string on your index finger. You're looking at it. You're pulling on Doom, and you summon an image of this figure with antlers radiating across the horizon of the multiverse itself, dripping with strings of crimson, most of them snapped, tangled, ripped apart, burned, desiccated. There's a flash of that in front of your eyes. And then you smell blood. So much of it. Spilled blood. You hear flesh ripping, snarling, vampiric grunting and growling. Undead strife, desperation, pain, grief, vengeance, vengeance, vengeance. This all passes within a nanosecond, but this information overloads your synapses and blows outward through you. You are snapped out of this vision. The volatility of it is I'm going to put some harm on you.
Yes, please.
I'm going to say I'm going to put doomed on you as a severe piece of harm. 3rd level.
Right.
That means it's life-threatening. You, Sayir, have pushed beyond this glass house that you're in. You've essentially tried to break through it, but instead of breaking down this wall, you've broken open your fist against it, and you've caused a crack to open here. It's not necessarily going to shatter and show you clear visions, but it will seep into the house with you. And unless you seal that crack up, it will threaten to drown you. For some reason or other, Sayir, Doom is really hard to reach here.
In the Sayer's mind's eye, they are pounding at this glass house, and he's just yelling to the ether, "Come on, you fucking bastard! You have taken me over with all the omens and messaging, and you're quiet now? Fuck you!"
You pound against that glass. This is all happening in your subconscious, right? In that nanosecond, you see a finger's width crack, lightning web out from your fist. And in the darkness beyond, you see just a flash of blue eyes. And then something starts to, little trickles of, not water exactly, but something red and crimson and bright and cold and hot starts seeping through that crack. It patters onto the ground by your feet, and then you're back in the living room.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the oblivion is here.
Sayer, how is your body like physically responding to this vision? Because I think it's really intense.
A single red teardrop of blood pours down his eyelid and down his face.
Yeah. So technically a 3-tier level of harm means that you need help before you can make any other action. So you're going to have to do something to like remove this soon.
Yeah. And I think Sayer feels it. But I'm going to tap into one of Sayer's abilities here, where when his stress is maxed out on the track or he takes a level 4 harm, he's not immediately removed from the fight. So he is tamping it down because he has that one last hurrah left in him, and he's still trying to tamp it down, probably poorly in front of, especially in front of Lumira, who can see this kind of like red blood trickle down his face. Sorry about that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just need some sleep. He like wipes his eye, and you see like the red blood stain the bottom of his eyelid past his red eyeliner and dry up in his hand.
Okay. Yinko gives you a concerned look, but where they would have pushed earlier, they don't now. You almost see like the impulse, like she wants to ask, she wants to make sure that you're actually okay and you're not just putting up a front Sayer, but then she doesn't. Anyway, about sleeping arrangements, no matter who takes the couch, Lumira, can I room with you?
Say what now?
I mean, you can say no, of course, but I would really like to room with you.
Sure. Why not?
Okay, great. I'll set up our room. And Yinka goes down the hall and into one of the 2 bedrooms.
Sayer looks like he was about to say something to Yinghe, especially seeing this interaction bloom between Lumira and Yinghe. But the noise dies in his throat before anything can be spilled out of his lips. Well, that leaves us, Zynon.
And you see Zynon watching Yinghe leave, and you can see rapid fire thoughts behind his eyes as he thinks of the fight in the Raya and the conversation about dancing in the Manticore's nest. And he lets that go for a moment. Listen, I can sleep on the couch.
No. At least for tonight, Zynon. Just rest on the bed. Come on. Doctor's orders.
We can work it out tomorrow.
You
Not
heard
yet.
him.
We'll figure it out. I'm just not ready to sleep yet. So give me a minute.
All right. And Sayer nods to himself. Still, I think he, like, you see it, Zynon. There's like a little bit of like wooziness that Sayer is like carrying as he's walking around, but he's holding firm. And he goes into the room, walks past Lumira and Yinghe's room as the doors are facing one another. What does Sayer hear coming out of that door?
This closet is huge.
I was gonna say, I think Lumira's like doing like her nighttime routine. So I don't even think that she's like actually in the room just yet. Like she's probably in the shower or something.
Yeah, you're in the bathroom. There's a hall that leads down and out of this open floor plan, leads right to a bathroom, and then on either side of the hall is one bedroom and the other bedroom. You hear Yinhe marveling over the closet, and you hear like water running as Lumira is doing her nighttime routine, and then you step into the second bedroom.
Sayer steps into the second bedroom and begins his own nightly routine, which includes stripping, because he doesn't wear a shirt when he sleeps.
Hell yeah!
Sayer,
Oh,
you peel your shirt off! Oh my god! We love this for us! This is a win for gays everywhere. Sayer, as you peel off your shirt and you get situated in your own room, both rooms beautifully, tastefully decorated. They both have those big windows, which thankfully blackout curtains already drawn over them. And Zainin, you are now alone in the living room with just the couch and that closed blackout curtain, staving off sleep for now, as some of that adrenaline from licking Diablo's blood and then licking Jamie's blood still buzzing somewhere in the back of your throat. And then we cut to midday. So, for a human, this would be the equivalent of midnight. For a vampire, midday means that it's been quite a few hours since the bloodbath in the catacombs. And I don't know about you all, but I think many members of Strike Team Nova might be struggling to fall asleep proper. In fact, we push into the room that Sayer has claimed.
Hey Zion, do you ever show up to the bed, or do you just like hover permanently outside for the rest of the night?
He plants himself in the kitchen, and you find that he does not go towards the bed.
I think Sayer waited for you in the room and kind of like sat on the floor and like leaned against the wooden frame of the bed and found himself like the exhaustion taking him, the wooziness kind of like hunkering low deep in his body. He needs to kind of rest a little bit, something to deal with this. And as he's taking this in, Sayer's not slept in his room in trance very well ever since Singh died. He's lived 25 years with a roommate. Every night he's heard the peaceful sleeping noises, the deep breaths, the giggling of a conversation over the oracle, fussing around with makeup brushes, anything, a sign of life in the room that he was in. And that doesn't exist for him anymore in his room at Trans. And as such, Dr. Wong has prescribed him a white noise machine in the shape of the oracle. The oracle is not very good at being a white noise machine.
Oh, wow.
Like I said before, Oracle, I mainly need you to sit in that corner and breathe.
How can I sit? I don't have legs. I can breathe though.
This is pointless. And Sayer sits in that discomfort for a long moment before he's just like, fuck it, he already thinks I'm weird. And he like stands up to his like full height and marches out the door towards the kitchen. And Sinan, you see a shirtless Sayer in like a pair of like dark sweatpants, and his hair is slightly disheveled as if he's been leaning flat against one side of a piece of furniture, and like a slight redness on his left eye that's sort of matched with his right, but not really, because that's the eye he bled out of. And he arrives like a child at midnight holding their blanket by their side and looks at you and says, Zion, you going to bed anytime soon?
Seer walks out to a very normal scene of a man who has emptied every single pouch on his entire personage onto the table and laid every single thing out, occupying the entire kitchen table. Across it, laid out so neatly, vials of salt, that wooden stake, box of matches, a thing of just dirt. There's just dirt in his pockets. Nails and all kinds of things. An army's worth of vampire hunting equipment is laid out on this table, and Zynon Esh is sitting there leaned over it like he hasn't moved in hours, just looking it all over, because Zynon doesn't know how to rest when he feels this way. He can feel just outside the window this peril holding them inside of this apartment. It's not dust here. It's just the sun. But he sees Seer come out. And he just looks up. Oh, was I taking a long time?
A little. You look like you're preparing for war over there.
No, just checking my equipment. I don't have a gun.
Got that big stick, though.
Yeah. I can't shoot a stake. And he picks it up off the table.
Yeah, I do not know why you wouldn't be given a long-ranged implement. That's like your deal.
Yeah. But as he says this, he finally looks over at Seer and actually looks him over.
You see that? New ink
yeah.
on his chest. Sing's mark on his chest. You see what looks to be a very agitated scar of the cut that violence had set into his ribs from the city of heaven. You see a bunch of other smaller scars all over him, the tiger striped tattoos on his forearms, and a boy.
1 second. Seir, that ink on your chest is white ink, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, Zynon, as your eyes fall on it, you notice just a pinprick, a needle's head worth of red. In the very top of that tattoo. Maybe it's just a trick of the light.
Zynon considers the strange events of the day, the new things he's experienced. He files that away. Inside of all of the other hunger for blood, the smell of other vampires, the ability to feel the heartbeat of every living being around him, and now blood where he's fairly certain there shouldn't be. And he pats the table surface next to him for Seir.
And Seir thinks of every single time Zynon has pat an area right next to him and readies himself for yet another capital C conversation. And he walks over to the dining table, pulls a chair and sits down and rests his chin on the base of his palm and looks at all of your fancy new implements.
Seir, as you sit down with a huff, we cut into Lumira's bedroom, where the bed kind of squeaks a little as Yinghe tosses, and then turns, and then tosses. Lumira, I assume you're also in the same bed. It's a queen-size bed, so it's roomy, but not that roomy.
Yeah, Lumira is minding her the good business that fate gave her. She is sitting in the room. The room is dark, and she has a book propped on her lap, not like her spell book that she carries on her, but like one of the books that piqued her interest from the bookshelf in the living room. And she's just kind of sitting there. And at first, the first toss, she ignores it and just licks her finger and flips the page, goes to the next one. But then it happens again. And she pauses and like just shoots her eyes over to Yinghe's side of the bed for a second. And then when she doesn't feel him doesn't feel him move again, she goes back to the page she was reading before Yinghe flips again and she slams the book shut. Yinghe.
And Yinghe turns one more time to face you. They have, in bedtime, taken off their ponytail, essentially. So their hair is just this pool of black tresses, almost like pure pitch oil silk, falling over their shoulders. And they look up at you with those bright silver eyes that gleam in the dark. Sorry, am I bothering you?
Lumira slow blinks for just a second before she goes, you're moving quite a bit.
Oh, right.
Here, try this, I guess. And Lumira will reach behind her like haphazardly and pull one of the pillows and kind of like tucks it into their side for a second. Try to help give them a bit more comfort. Try this.
Oh,
I need some more
that's
pressure
actually-
points sometimes when I have a hard time going to sleep.
This is actually really nice. Sorry, I'm just not used to sleeping in a bed. It's a little too soft.
Yinghe.
Hmm?
Lumira's looking like, come on, girl. Like,
Oh, it's just, I'm so used to sleeping in the temple, you know? On the floor. Stone. Sometimes, you know, I could harvest some straw in the village before they chased me out. Those were good nights.
you know, the first couple of nights are always going to be a bit more difficult. Some of my first missions at Trans, we didn't necessarily have beds to sleep on while we were out in mission. So coming back to my bed after a long mission of camping essentially was difficult. So, you know.
I see. I guess it's just something I'll have to get used to.
That's all. And Lumira will go turn her attention back to her book, cross-legged, like she's sitting in like her bonnet. Her hair is like all twisted up. Like she's just cross-legged with the book spread out across her lap.
Another bounce, squeak, squeak. Sorry again. I just wanted to say, I know tonight was really intense, and we got those texts from that number that we don't know about, and it brought us to weird places, and then we were in a really intense catacomb situation, and we had blood for the first time, and then someone died, and you tackled their would-be victim out of the way, and it was just... I know today was supposed to be a really intense and probably objectively speaking kind of bad night, but I still had a really good time because I got to spend it with you. So thanks for being such a good guide, I guess. Teammate, I appreciate it.
Anytime. And Lumira will turn her attention back to the book she's reading.
And there's something about the word choice from Yinghe, their nervous but genuine gratefulness, that triggers a memory for you. I think a memory of Sing, younger, shorter hair, antlers still barely more than nubbins, smiling at you, where your positions were rather reversed. You, as a brand new trans agent, being shown the ropes by Sing. Now you get to do this for Yinghe. Sayur, you and Zainin are in Boy Talk Town.
when I can't sleep, I do this. My Ema used to count bullets. I counted feed. Done all sorts like this.
Does the counting help?
No. But I know what's there. So, certainty. What about you?
Sayre looks embarrassed, like a teenager asked a very personal question by their parent. He kind of like looks off to the side. He's twiddling his thumbs. You see his thumb kind of like consistently stroke this red thread that's on his finger, like a little fidget. Now, I've not really been on my own for very long.
Simon looks to that new tattoo.
Look, it's hard to sleep on my own. I know that maybe you're not. I mean, you can count your equipment in the room. I just need someone there. That's all.
I get it. I understand. I've gone through times like that myself. Yeah, if it helps, I will count whatever this is later. Actually, I think I'm gonna try and get some rest. We all need to actually be ready for that meeting tomorrow.
Sayre nods and looks at you, and you see relief wash past his face as you acquiesce to his very clumsy request for you to return to the room. And he kind of just looks you up and down and like chuckles to himself a little bit. I didn't think you had that in you, by the way.
What?
I don't know. Wildfire hotshot, I guess.
You know, I didn't always sleep alone. And he walks.
Oh no, I know that. Oh no, I'm very well aware of that. Naeem Sir made that infinitely clear.
I mean, before. I had another life, you know, before trans.
Sinan, you said you were walking toward you and Sayre's room.
Oh yeah, I muted myself. Oops. You know, before trans, I had another life, you know.
How did you deal with it? Sleeping on your own for the first time.
It was very loud, so it wasn't the same. I slept alone in a very different place. But I understand the empty, the quiet. I've been there. And, you know, and he looks to the other door, like, through the wall. He knows where it is. There's some things that you can, act on now that might not be there later.
Sayre looks at you, looks at where you're looking, and then looks back at like your particular face, and as you are like watching him, and he just goes, he like leans back a little bit and just says, What do you actually want to say, old man?
I'm just saying someone who crosses multiverses to dance with you, that follows you everywhere, might want you to not be lonely.
These are the words that sit with you for the rest of the morning, Sayer. These are the words that ring out in your head as you tuck yourself into bed, as Zion joins you, as soon your breaths even out. And finally, all 4 members of Strike Team Nova are able to fall into a dreamless, fitful, but still true slumber. And we're going to cut to break there. We'll be back in just about 10 minutes. Thank you all for tuning in so far, and we will see you so soon. time it is. It's sponsor Connie time with a word from Hero Forge. Hero Forge has officially leveled up with kit bashing. When you become a pro member, you can place up to 20 more items anywhere on one of your blorbos with their own independent scaling, rotation, and movement. You can make your character look exactly as they should, even if the specific clothing or accessory option isn't available at the base level. You just have to get a little creative. And because I love you, Transplanters, here's a special sneak peek at a kit bashed version of Oblivion. Just look at those wings and that base. This would not be possible without the power of kit bashing. The combinations are literally endless, and you can print your kit bashed blorbos as plastic minis, standees, digital STL files, or even Hero Forge's brand new color statuettes. Color statuettes are twice the size of a regular mini, and just look at this. I mean, look at how massive this is, and especially in comparison to a regular mini, you can really get into all the nooks and crannies and details that wouldn't be as apparent on a regular sized mini. Just look at how Oblivion dwarfs Oka here. And also, if you're a GM, consider busting out one of these bad boys during a boss fight to really get your players shaking in their boots. Oblivion agrees. Unlock the true power of Hero Forge with a Hero Forge Pro subscription starting at $3.99 a month. Get in there and start creating at bit.ly/transforge. Now, let's get back to the show. Or more likely, just more of the waiting room. Trust in her will. Hello, friends and transplanters. Welcome back. We're just going to drop it right back into the session. A reminder of content warnings for this episode. They may include fantasy violence, blood, death, grief, trauma, vampirism, neck gore, romance, references to sex, complex character dynamics, brief depictions of food, alcohol, and substance use, and mentions of spiders. So if you're in the Twitch chat, use !CW to get a look at our content warnings at any time. And if you're in YouTube, our mods will be dropping those content warnings every now and then as a reminder. And with that out of the way, let's dive right back in. The Thakar Haveli is a lush and sprawling compound with a dozen multi-tiered, flat-roofed stone buildings connected by verdant courtyards, dotted by falsa berry bushes, mulberry trees, and mango trees currently bare in the wake of autumn. The buildings themselves are gorgeous. Latticed stone walls sport painted frescoes of House Thrakar's long and illustrious history. The covered hallways surrounding each courtyard bear painted floors and lead to spacious, colorful rooms. The outer courtyards of the Haveli are lavish and roomy, clearly meant to entertain large amounts of guests and even to serve as a community hub for the surrounding neighborhood. The inner courtyards, though slightly smaller, are no less grand in elegance, bearing more personal flourishes, such as charpai, outdoor beds made from sturdy wood and woven fibers. Everywhere we look, we see domed ceilings, floral patterning, circular archways, flourishing plants. But it is not just the beauty of this Haveli that commands our attention. There are whispers here, too. Dense webs of power and all the misgivings that come with it accumulating in the ancient corners of this home. But only the most perceptive, the most attuned, can even sense such a thing beneath the grandeur of history. As the ancestral home of the spiders and one of the very first structures built in Inferno, the Thrakar Haveli was not always this massive or sprawling. What began as 2 humble buildings and 2 beloved courtyards have since propagated into the dizzying compound that the Thrakars, their retainers, their companions, and their collaborators now call home. We push through corridors of sandstone and plaster to find an imposing wing of the Haveli reserved for artists in residence at the ICMA. And it is here, in this wing, that we find Ro. Rhododendron. Due to the events of last night's bloodbath, you have accumulated some exposure. Please mark 3 exposure due to your ruthless butchering of Jamie Shimizu. You would have also lost favor with at least one other major house if you hadn't so adroitly resisted that social harm Jamie tried to put on you. There's another silver lining here for you. You get 1 additional influence from successfully completing the errand of organizing the bloodbath, if only really by technicality at this point. Now, why don't you tell us about your office in the residency wing of the Thrakar Haveli? What does it look like, and what personal touches decorate it?
Ro's office is this beautiful room full of wood furnishings. In the sort of far side of the room, there is this desk made of oak that stands sturdy and strong, kind of framing everything else that's in the room. And the room actually has this sort of illusion of being outside while you're in it. Many of the plants that you find outside in the courtyards, just beyond the windows of the office, Ro has made a point to bring those very same plants into the office, almost creating this illusory effect as if you have walked straight from the courtyard into their office. And so those plants line sort of the perimeter of their space. And there are pictures that are framed and hung up on all of the different walls of their office. Some of them are art pieces, of course, that have been gifted to them or bought by them from various different creators, artists that have graced the halls of the ICMA, many of them who stayed in this very Haveli in the artist in residence section. These are some of Ro's most prized possessions, some of the connections that they have made with other people in Inferno live in those pieces. Littered between those art pieces as well, there are family portraits of different people that have lived and been a part of House Takrar. There is, of course, the people that we know and are familiar with. There is a portrait of Yara, there is a portrait of Will, and then there are other portraits of different people, all different shapes, sizes, colors, that sort of adorn this office as well. And lastly, the sort of big major piece that is holding all of this office together is a beautiful rapier that is mounted on the wall just at the center above the desk, above that oak desk. And it is this long, slender sword, beautifully and intricately crafted. It is a Takrar house heirloom that has been passed down from heir to heir to heir. Its handle, the guards on it are branches and leaves, and the basket is this spider web that is currently adorned with, if you look closely enough, you'd be able to see nasturtium leaves, nasturtium flowers, the petals of it sort of coating like dew along the spider web. And the blade, if you were able to get close enough to see it, has words engraved in it. Everything is a performance. Blood comes first. It is grand, it is beautiful. It's a work of art.
And it is nighttime, too, Ro. The pale light of the waxing gibbous filters through the latticed stone walls inside this room, and it falls slanted against your desk. And also leaning against your desk, observing one of those many pieces of art on your wall, is your mother. Willow Takrar is as tall and slender as her namesake. She wears a braid of dark brown hair streaked with handsome stripes of gray. Her clothes are stylish and eclectic and timeless. Her right eye is just like yours, as yellow as a cat's, and her left eye is sealed shut with thick bands of scar tissue. Arms crossed, still looking up at one of these art pieces, your mother says, "Why did you put this one up in your office?"
That one was actually that was one of the first artists in residence that stayed here from
It's
when
trite. Replace it with something more delicate. A Gauthier, perhaps. Or a Chung Adams.
The artists actually did quite well while they were here. I chose them
Are
personally.
those your standards? Rhododendron.
No, of course not. You always had a better eye for these things, Mother.
It is one thing to simply judge, witness, and observe art. It is wholly another to create it, and still a third to be able to aptly do both. If you cannot create, Ro, you must at least be peerless when it comes to critique.
And Ro, their hand goes to their long black sleeve and starts fiddling with it slightly of this shirt, this sweater that they are wearing that has along the neck these spider webs kind of like braided into them like threads. And they fiddle with that sleeve nervously and they nod, knowing that though they have tried, Ro has never been able to create for himself. Never been able to make something that was up to the Takrar standards. Painting, sculpting, weaving, hell, performance art, none of it ever really clicked for Ro. But Ro has a good eye. They know they have a good eye. And so they nod and they say, "Of course." And I make sure that every single piece that graces the walls of the ICMA is one to behold, that will make everybody talk, regardless of whether they think they understand art or not.
Good. Make sure you follow up on those promises with action and delivery. And your mother turns to look at you. Inferno has been talking, Rhododendron.
And what exactly has Inferno been saying?
Last night's bloodbath was the most well-attended affair across 6 social seasons. Very good. There were delegates from every major house, except Lanius. Also, very good. The organizer of the bloodbath arrived late, but fashionably so. Fine. The reason Ree was late was because Ree was feeding from a House Ula blood bag that Ree didn't even know was already claimed. Not good. An assassin tried to murder the littlest spider in front of the entire city. Bad. 3 strangers stopped the assassination attempt. Fine. The heir to the spiders challenged the assassin to a duel to the death. Good. The heir won. Also good. The victory was messy. Not so good. The heir expressed an impulsivity, a brutality, and an intimacy that does not befit the makings of their house. Very bad.
I made sure that I understand that it is not perhaps the tactics that you would have chosen, but I made sure that nobody that was there to witness the events of the bloodbath, none of them would ever try that. They know that the spiders are not to be trifled with. Yara's life will never be in danger like that again.
Rhododendron, it is one thing to control other people's perceptions of you. It is another to control yourself. We do not drink with abandon. We do not lose our composure, and we do not stop performing. To do so is to lose that control, and to lose control is to die.
Yes, of course. I didn't enjoy it.
That doesn't matter, Rhododendron. It doesn't matter if you enjoyed it. It doesn't matter if you hated it. It doesn't matter if it was the best thing you've ever felt. What matters is you remember who you are, and you remember how to wear your mask and play your role. And Will, as she speaks, walks around that desk, reaches up to the wall, and takes that centerpiece, that beautiful rapier, off of it, and she drops it onto your desk with a metallic clang. Did you forget how to use this last night?
I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think that I needed it for a party, of all things.
You created an improvised weapon, which was good, but you did not use it to kill Jamie Shimizu, which was very bad. You, and she places 2 fingers on the basket, and slides it across the desk toward you, will carry this blade with you everywhere now, lest you forget yourself again.
And Rose's fingers slide across that basket, fingering the nasturtium flowers that are engraved and placed so lovingly on the spider web. And they remember their place. Their shoulders move back and down, a more dignified position, and they take the rapier in their hand, curl around that cold metal, and pull it towards themselves.
Good. Shoulders down, back. Hold it like you mean it. Hold it like it's a killing tool, which it is. Hold it like it is a symbol of everything you could ever be. And never, ever forget that.
I won't make that mistake again.
Good. And Willow turns from you and rounds the desk to lean back against it, cheating her body so it's halfway facing you and halfway facing that art piece again. I'm moving the gallery opening up. It will be the site of the next bloodbath.
That's in a month.
I am aware. Are you saying you can't handle it?
No, it's just there is a lot to prepare. The site, the Recluse Gallery, is still in rubble, and a month
that is your
is
problem to fix, Rhododendron. 3 months is much too much time for House Lanius to do what House Lanius does, circulate their rumors, undermine our position. We cannot afford that. And your latest exposure at this bloodbath. Though you've dealt the recompense that our house was owed to Jamie Shimizu, there are whispers. The streets speak. Inferno gossips. We cannot let that gossip percolate for more than a moon.
of course not. But people may whisper, but they have no leverage upon which to act. So is there any way that we can buy more time? It would be easier to prepare.
Rhododendron, do not be so weak. It does not befit you. You are very fortunate and fated indeed that you've said those words only in the company of your mother. Never say something like that, ever, in front of me or anyone else. You do not crumble in the face of challenge, you rise to meet it. You crush it.
And crush it I will.
Good. Of course, this means all of your errands are expedited. You must keep House Huyen happy, and you must secure houses Ula and Kuatun. If you must choose between them, because you only have a moon, court the bear. As we both know, the serpents are in bed with the shrikes and have been for some time now. They may be difficult to sway to our side. Either way, you must secure art pieces from all of our allies to legitimize the bond, and you must ensure that they will swear fealty at the opening.
They will. I will make sure of it.
That art piece will be their bond.
And I will secure it from the heads of each house, just as we planned.
Good. And make sure that you expedite preparations for your own installation. It must be perfect.
I'm working on it.
Chung Adams. She looks back at the art piece on the wall, and then without another word, she turns and she leaves.
And as soon as Willow is out of the office, out of sight, all of the tension in Rose's body releases. The hand that was holding the rapier slams down softly onto the desk. There is a clanging of the metal against wood, and they grip with their other hand onto the other side of the desk. And they are just so heavy. Rare shoulders. Can they really hold this much?
Your mother exits your office and strides into that open floor atrium that bleeds into the courtyard. There's this domed ceiling above her head that overlooks 3 beautifully painted stories and even more potted plants than the eye can count. At the same time, Strike Team Nova. You enter the atrium from the courtyard, led by Yaro Drakar. Willow passes Yara without a word, but a single glance from her is enough to make them straighten their shoulders, shut their trap, and stiffen. And Yara doesn't relax when Willow rounds the corner out of sight without giving the four of you a second look. And Yara doesn't relax as she leads your party to the arched doorway of Ro's office either. Okay. So, thanks again for saving me, or whatever. Ro's in there. They're expecting you. Have fun.
Thank you.
And Yara, raps twice on the door.
Just a sec, and Ro, not having time to mount that rapier back on the wall, just kind of places it a little further back on the desk and straightens out their clothes. Takes a deep breath and then goes to open the door.
The office that greets you, Strike Team Nova, is beautiful. It feels like you stepped into yet another courtyard before you notice the ceiling, the walls, so many beautiful art pieces adorning every nook and cranny of this place. And Yinghe actually looks around and is the first to step into this space, pressing against the walls, the shadows where they are most comfortable, but with a clear look of awe in their eyes. Wow, rhododendron, this place is gorgeous.
Thank you. I've picked out each of these pieces myself.
Really? Did you make them?
No, I'm not an artist myself. I'm just a art curator at the ICMA.
Oh, well, you have a very good eye. A great sense of taste.
Thank you. And Ro kind of looks to see if the rest of Strike Team Nova is entering the office.
Lumira
Zion-
is.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Lumira is, but her eyes, you will quickly be able to tell, Ro. Her eyes leave very little to her internal thoughts or anything along the lines of that, and they are just saucered, taking in everything. She's doing that slow walk, that apprehensive walk where you're just looking at every single, down to the paneling on the floor, you're looking at everything with every step.
Zion takes his hat off as they finally enter what is probably not a courtyard. He looks up to make sure that there's no sunlight or sky visible here before fully removing it. He glances at the artwork, but that doesn't captivate him. The thing that he looks at is where a weapon should be hanging. And he just locks on that like it is the most beautiful piece of art in the room.
Sayir enters behind the rest of Nova. I think he is still trying to pinpoint Yaro's whole deal, and is kind of trying to pinpoint where the littlest spider fits in this massive web that's emerging in the politics of Lanius and House Trakar. And he steps in, kind of leans down and looks at everything. And Ro, maybe much to your dismay, he's clearly fascinated. He looks at all the art pieces. There's a little shine, a glimmer of something behind his eyes that you didn't expect to see out of this large, brutish-looking man. But then this word falls out of his lips, and perhaps it is a disappointment as he goes, "Nice." Before his eye falls onto the rapier in the backmost part of that table, before he says, "Beautiful weapon."
Thank you. And as the last of Strike Team Nova enters the office, Ro walks over and closes that door with a very firm click and turns around. Thank you all so much for joining me here. I wanted to give you an official invitation to the Haveli on behalf of House Trakar to thank you for everything that you did last night to save Yara's life.
You're very
Beautiful
welcome.
here.
I didn't really do anything, but I will if it happens again. If hopefully, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that it doesn't happen again.
Yes.
But if it does, it seems that the 3 of you, or perhaps the 4 of you, are interested in helping House Thiksha in some way. You don't know us, and we don't know you, and yet you put your body in front of a would-be assassin looking at Lumiere. Why?
Lumira takes that, and it almost looks as if she's rolling her response around on her tongue as she's mulling it over. I'm pretty sure I can speak for the rest of my team here. When we see someone in trouble, we help. Period.
That's about the sum of it.
You seem very capable.
I like to think so.
How is it exactly that you found your way into our beautiful city, Inferno? I don't think I've ever seen you around before, and from the looks of it, Diablo, Anu, nobody else had either.
How does anyone get here? This entire city seems like a haven for souls
Wait.
lost and found.
We also do all work here.
I attend the university.
I'm a construction worker.
Above table question, are any of you lying?
Lumira's telling you the 100% truth. You don't even have to roll for it.
Simon didn't
What about
say what his
Sayer?
job was.
Sayer's not lying. That's his cover. So that is apparently what he is.
Yeah. So, Ro, you can tell they're all telling the truth, but they're talking around something too. They're not directly lying to you for sure, but they're omitting some things.
For the audience, fun mechanical thing is that Ro has an ability that makes it so that they can always tell when other people are lying. And so that pings, I think, for them, where this isn't a lie, but it's not a truth either. It's somewhere gray in the middle, and I think Ro files that away in the back of Rare Mind, and Ray doesn't press further. Just nods at the answers and seemingly satisfied by them, and will gesture to, I think, like chairs, large armchairs that are set up in the office for the 4 of them to sit down. And Ro themselves will take up their appointed position behind the desk.
Yinka
So-
Goes
sits,
and sits.
and this huge armchair seems to swallow them. In comparison, they're like a slender shadow.
Lumira stays standing. She stays standing off over to the side of her team, but her posture, the way she's holding herself, could rival yours.
And Sayer takes point on the other side of the armchair, mirroring Lumira, but he rests his lower back against it and looks at Ro, allowing the large armchair to swallow both Yinghe and Zain in its massive space.
Are you by the armchair that Yinghe is in? Are you by the armchair that Yinghe is in, Sayer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I
Rolling
didn't hear
for
me
it.
first.
First.
Okay.
Roll
yeah,
for it first.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yinghe looks up at you, stands, goes to the next armchair over, and sits down.
Sayer
Zainin
raises an eyebrow and quizzically looks at that response.
They are not meeting your eye.
Zainin has seated himself very promptly because he is here to do business. He seats himself like is expected, and looks at everyone around this room who is standing and looks at the chairs and motions to both of the empty chairs because he is here to ingratiate himself.
Ro is unbothered and unfazed by whatever display has just gone on in front of them. I think they recognize that there is something going on here that they don't know about and they don't need to know about. It's not important for them right now.
It's okay. It's you and Sarah on the same boat. It's incredible that we're both here.
So I think Ro just allows that dance to play out in front of Rim, and Ray continues as if they had never lost that beat in the conversation. As thanks for saving Yada's life, I noticed that, well, as you mentioned last night, and as Diablo mentioned last night, that you, Mr. Ash, seem to have gotten into a little bit of trouble with the bears.
I have, and I am grateful for your intervention and assistance, and whatever I can do to help, just let me know. I didn't.
Of course.
I didn't know whose bike that was.
Well, far be it from me to tell you that if it's not yours, perhaps taking the bike was an unwise move to begin with, but I would be more than happy to, as thanks for your actions, to facilitate a meeting with Anugata and smooth things over. House Kuwatun, well, they can hold a grudge if you're not careful.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated. But I'm wondering if there's anything else outside of my mishap that we can help you with.
And Ro raises an eyebrow at that and looks to all of Nova and says, "Are you interested in helping further?"
Whatever you need from us.
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
Lumira elbows you again. Say it.
Yes.
And pardon me for asking, but what exactly would you gain from helping?
We're kind people. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
You feel that immediately.
Okay.
Deep lie.
Noted that. Well, I mean, since you're here, clearly no house has claimed you yet. And so perhaps if you are truly willing to help, I can extend that as a courtesy. House Thakrar can claim you and allow you to go about your business in Inferno, whatever it is, whatever work that you do, unimpeded. In exchange for helping us, of course.
I'd be interested in helping you specifically, Rhododendron. It is in our best interest to find a place to be here, and you seem like someone worth knowing. There is a lie hidden in what Zynon is saying. He is very carefully dancing around where this information came from. Why?
Helping me is helping House Thakrar. So you're in luck.
Say looks over to Lumira. He has his arm crossed, and you see that the red threaded finger is tapping on his bicep, and he looks to you almost like, I should tell Rem.
Lumira will subtly reach over, pat that hand with the red string wrapped around your finger, gently, soothingly, as if saying, in due time.
He nods.
We will scratch your back and you will scratch ours, yes?
Yes, in a way. Though I must ask first, and Ro turns their gaze over to Sayir. Of course, before I can fully offer House Thakrar's name to back your actions, I must know, what relationship do you have with House Lanius?
I don't really have a relationship with them. I attended,
Enough to drink from their coffers, it seems.
I attended one meeting.
Wait, what do you mean by...
Well, oh. That smell? Coming off of your friend. If you pay attention, when everybody drinks, it smells a little different on them. They residue, that aftermath. And it's... Consider it a signal to others like us that tells everyone from which house his coffers that drink was taken from.
Know that. Sorry, I'm new at being a vampire.
The Crimson Tapestry takes some getting used to, but
I don't deny it. I did drink at the House Lanius meeting.
they invited you because...
They just let me walk in.
What exactly did you hear at this meeting that you attended? Did you participate?
Only to listen and pay attention. Sayir looks over to Lumira and signaling, I'm going to tell them.
Well,
Lumira nods imperceptibly, saying, go ahead.
And Sayir, like, stands up from leaning against the armchair and stands up and says, I heard a lot of things at this House Lanius meeting. They spoke of their contracts. They spoke of union meetings and scheduling. They also spoke about a Ren Shimizu. An accidental death that they didn't consider to be accidental. They believe they were murdered. Sloppily, I think they said.
and there's a shift in Ro's face as you say sloppily. But they control the emotion that goes across Ray's face. And Ray scoffs a little. Well, let me tell you something about House Lanius. They're all liars. Would you like to hear the true story of that house?
And we're gonna end the session there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the final Chaos stream of 2024. Give it up for Strike Team Nova and Rhododendron Trakar, an honorary member Yinghua. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, consider leaving us a positive review, joining our Discord server, or posting about us on social media. Not only does it help our creator brains when we're on the verge of burnout, it also helps us continue to reach out to sponsors to make this work possible. Of course, the winter holidays are coming up, which means we are gonna go dark until 2025, but we will be returning in January to continue Arc 3. If you haven't already, check out our good friend Lexi, Black Girl Mage's donation link in the chat one last time for posterity. Check out those incentives. I'm offering like consultation hours, and so are a lot of incredible transplanter folks. And yeah, I'm gonna pass along introductions over to our incredible guest, Hamna.
Hello everyone, my name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns and I am a TTRPG performer and producer. You can find me all over the internet at Lilith TTRPG. And I have been Rhododendron Thakrad tonight. Yes, please do donate to Lexi's mutual aid fund. I am also offering consultation for sponsorship stuff. So join. There's a whole bunch of really cool prizes on there. But yeah, today has been absolutely a blast. And if you want to see more of me coming up, follow me on social media where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm on. This is currently the main spot that I'm at. So in 2 weeks' time, join us to find out why House Leonis is liars. Why it's full of liars. And with that, I will pass things over to Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Office of Spirit Bear. Please enjoy the lovely treasure hunt to set you on. Tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite little fucked up Doom boy, Sayir, who uses he, they pronouns. Gonna shout out again, please go and check out Lexi's funding goal. Please go and donate, send some love, go and win some incredible prizes as well for doing a good deed. We really, really appreciate you. In terms of stuff that I'm doing, I'm in a hibernation even, during the holidays, but I will be returning in January 2025 with a bunch of projects to keep up to date with all my socials. And also, Doomsayers is back tomorrow. Come check us out in the underworld, y'all. I'm gonna pass it on over to my fellow Doomsayer.
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. You can find me all over the internet as Estelle of Imladris. Happy holidays to everyone. Please go donate to Lexi. We love him. And we'll catch you all in the new year. Sam, take us away.
Hello, hello. I'm Sam Star. You can follow me all across the interwebs at LustForLifeX. Plus wanting everything that everyone has said about Lexi. He is the best. I love him dearly. And you also might see a familiar face tomorrow for the Night Before Strixmas stream. So donate or come watch. I'm sending it home to you, boss. Take us out.
It's a me, boss. Just so y'all know, if you're running the numbers on the odds for the incentives, there are so many that your odds are really good if you donate any amount of money. They're actually really, really good because there's so many incentives. So go donate. You might win. I'm not gonna say probably. You might win. So yes, stay tuned for the raid, and let's give a big shout out to our mods in chat to round out 2024. Huge shout out to Keith and Jordan, and of course a huge shout out to our producer C. Thomas, who's running all the music that you hear mixing live. Our dramaturg, incredible. Send love to them. We love C.
We love C. We love C.
We love C.
We love C.
We love C. And with that, goodbye everybody. Stick around for the raid if we're going to be raiding someone else. Use the raid message in chat. We love you. And Bijo, see you in 2025, baby. Bye.